whatever the fuck you want with lightsaber. It doesn't really matter. Twist it, do whatever you want. Try not to move it too fast because you're gonna have issues with the frame rate like I just did. Just do some random bullshit, and I'll see you guys in After Effects.
I just simultaneously whipped a nay-nay!
So Star Wars came out, it's a big thing, apparently. It's kind of been invading my life to the point where now I kind of like it. So today we'll be doing Kylo Ren's lightsaber effect in After Effects using a little plugin I love to use all the time called Saber. I have a download pack in the description that I made. It's called the full package. It comes with a free version of After Effects CC 2019. I have to legally say it's for educational purposes, whatever the fuck. So yeah, After Effects CC 2019 for free, the free Saber plugin, and a sound effects pack that I made myself. It's kind of janky. It's not the best sound effects pack out there, but the thing is that there's no Kylo Ren lightsaber sound effects pack, so I had to make my own. So that's in the description too. So you gotta go download that. Download that now. I'll be teaching you guys the basics of Saber so you guys can make your own effects later on down the line. And I will also be showing you how I made Kylo Ren's lightsaber effect, as well as a Jedi lightsaber effect I made a while ago, and it looks a lot better than the Kylo Ren one. I don't know, it just does. It looks a lot cleaner, we'll say. So two things. I did accidentally hit the ceiling in the clip that I recorded, and I didn't want to re-record, so I added a little spark effect. I won't be going over how I did that, but basically it was the sound effect from the sound effects pack, a PNG of a burn mark, a puff of smoke green screen, and a spark green screen. That's it. That's all you need to do to make like lightsaber hits. So I just wanted to put that out there if someone was wondering about that. And I also put a lot of work into this video, so I would appreciate it if you guys dropped it a like, shared it around, showed it to some friends. And if you do happen to be new, I'd really appreciate a sub. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm recording this little bit after the fact, simply because I lost my original clip. I have no idea where it went. I recorded it, I saved it, and then I go to edit my footage and it's just not there. That one was long and it had way more information than it needed, so I'm just going to run down the basics of how to use Saber, and I'm going to run you through the tutorial a lot faster, so try to keep up. So first off, when you download Saber, you're going to need to open up Saber, and then you're going to need to install it through the Saber application. It's not like a file that you put into a folder in the After Effects folder. It's none of that shit. You just download Saber, open it, and then find the install path and install it into After Effects. It's not hard at all. Once you're ready to start work, here's what you do. Make sure you have as little excess footage as possible because you're going to be keyframing. Yes, keyframing all of it. So my clip starts just before my lightsaber comes out and it ends just after I say I'll see you guys in After Effects. I would suggest not having jump cuts because jump cuts you have to do all this extra bullshit like I did, but if you want to have jump cuts, I'll teach you how to do them because with Saber it's a lot more difficult. Alright, so you're in After Effects, you have Saber downloaded, and you're ready to start doing the Kylo rendering. So you're going to want to go to your layers panel, right click, new, and solid, or alternatively you can go up to layer, new, and then solid, or you can just hit Control Y. That's kind of easiest. Once you do that, you're going to want to name it whatever you want, make sure it's the same resolution as the composition, and then make sure it is black. Initially it'll be gray, so you're gonna want to turn it to black so we can turn it to screen later. Once you have your solid, so people who don't know really how to edit are gonna be confused like, wow, it's black, I don't know what to do. Don't worry. Go to your effects panel, type in Saber, drag it to that layer, that black solid layer. Now what you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to click this right here. If this right here, if these words normal aren't right there, go to toggle switches / mode. This is what it would look like if it's not there. So if it's not there, just click toggle switches and it'll be there. Click it and then select the mode screen. Now over here in your effect controls panel, you have the Saber effect. Now all these settings are subjective. You can go for whatever look you want. And there's a bunch of presets for a bunch of different types of beams, like green energy, let's go to arc reactor, core, burning, fire, there's kryptonite, plasma, a bunch of different things. Since I already have this, I'll go ahead and delete that. On my Saber effect, I chose arc reactor, and I have these settings right here. 50% glow intensity, a glow speed of 0.09%, 0.17 glow bias, and a 3.9 core size. I also have flicker and a bunch of other things going on here, but it's kind of a lot, so if you want a more in-depth tutorial on Saber, I will link a video down in the description below that's like a 40-minute video co-pilot tutorial on just Saber and how to use it, but I'm trying to give you guys the basics to make a Kylo Ren-esque looking lightsaber. If you want a more Luke Skywalker or a Jedi's lightsaber look, you can use the default and then go from there. You can just widen. In fact, here, let's create a new solid, just stock everything, put Saber on, and we'll customize the core. Now the core is kind of a difficult thing simply because you're going to need to customize it to your preferences, and by that I mean like my lightsaber is extremely thick and like dummy thick, so I have to make sure my core is thick enough to the point where it covers it. Originally, if you take a look at it, my lightsaber is blue. With the effect added over it, it is red, but I need to make sure that that effect is completely covering the lightsaber so it doesn't fuck with anything else in the composition. Not the composition, the footage, my bad. So when you first have Saber all set up with your black solid and everything, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to a frame where your lightsaber is very visible, and then I want you to go to the effects control panel, click the effect, and then size up your Saber effect to your lightsaber and see if you like it. Then toy with it a bit, mess with it, so you can get the settings that you want. You can customize the core, you can customize flicker to make it flicker. Distortion is it's a really fickety thing. I wouldn't really mess with the distortion too much. And then you have all the different glow settings, which you can customize to be really whatever you want. I have mine set on a bunch of different custom settings. I'm not going to go over all of them because there's a lot, and a lot of them don't even matter actually. So now that you are all ready and you have your lightsaber or your Saber effect that you like, you have an effect that looks good to you. So you're ready to start animating. Yay! Here's how you start keyframing. Now it's going to be a very slow, painful process. You have to do it frame by frame. To move forwards in the composition by one frame, hold Control and hit right. Hold Control and hit left to go back. It's one frame. It's very easy, very simple. But to start animating these points, click on Saber, go to Core Start and Core End, and click the little stopwatch right next to them. If you don't see Core Start and Core End right here, go down to the Saber effect, click on Effects, click on Saber, and then go down to Core Start and Core End and click these little stopwatches. Now you have keyframes that are going to keyframe every single time you move these 2 points right here. If you don't see these 2 points right here, you can go back up to the effects control panel and just click on Saber, and the points will reappear. Let's see, I'll click off of them, they disappear. I click back on Saber, they reappear. You could take these 2 points and match them up with your lightsaber throughout your clip. Now here's the thing, every time I move it, a piece of it just sticks there. Why does that happen? Well, this is because Saber actually has something very, very realistic that a lot of other plugins and other VFX artists don't really know how to do all that well and make it look good. This is called motion blur. Every time you move it and there's a previous keyframe that already has data there, there's going to be motion blur. So you're going to want to do your best to keep these 2 points tracked to your lightsaber and ignore this right here, because even though like it starts to stretch out and look like it's distorted, it's not distorted. That's just visual distortion from motion blur. Now this is going to look really nice and realistic when your effect is done. But once you have your keyframes started, and once you have a lightsaber or a Saber effect that you like, you're going to need to start Control right arrowing all the way through and animating these 2 points across all of these frames. This is a 14-second clip at 29.97 FPS, and it took me about an hour to get done. Well, more like an hour and a half. Which is why you want to keep your settings at 30 FPS or lower. I suggest the best FPS is like 24 FPS, but I'm not going to go do that because it's already 30 FPS and I don't want to have like frame skipping. So the lower the frame rate in this situation, the better, but you do need a higher shutter speed. A good shutter speed is going to ensure that you don't get this shit right here. Look at how bad that motion blur is. When I start to swing it faster and faster, look at my hand, you can't see it. Make sure you have a good shutter speed, children. So now you're animating a lightsaber. Now we're going to talk about jump cuts, because jump cuts are probably the most annoying thing ever, and I didn't really notice until I actually started doing them. But the thing with Saber is that if you cut the composition, if you cut the Saber layer in half, like I did, I hit Control D and I cut it, this layer still retains all of the keyframes from this layer right here. So if it jump cuts and my lightsaber's on the other side of the screen and I try to move the points, there'll be motion blur and it's gonna look disgusting. So what I did was I put the opacity on the first frame of this layer right here to 0, And on the second frame, I put it to 100. Which, that's not a good... See, like right here, you can see the first frame, there's no Saber effect right there. That's why this isn't a good tactic, and I wouldn't recommend using it, but it's the one I use because I'm kind of in a time pinch. There's probably way better ways to do this, like just creating a completely new Saber effect, copying over the effect, and leaving the keyframes. But honestly, I didn't want to do that because I was impatient, and patience runs really, really dry and really, really short when you're a visual effects artist. So now we're going to move on to the sound effects part of this. Now, the sound effects pack is the Kylo Ren Lightsaber sound effects pack, and I made it myself. It has a bunch of things: lightsaber ignition, plus like just sitting there for like 60 seconds, light swings, just sitting there like idle, big crashes, 2-swing combos, swings, hits, all of it, crashes, retraction, all of that good shit. Now, I don't usually do audio in After Effects, so I'm just going to run the basics with you. You cannot have these two layers interact with each other at all. They are two separate layers for eternity. This is why I use Premiere Pro to do all my audio. If you or someone you know uses Premiere, they can teach you how to use it. It's actually like one of the simplest softwares on planet Earth to use, so it's not hard to get a hang of. But since we're in After Effects, it literally just works like this. You just throw your sound effects on, and since I don't have my audio hardware, right? Hold on, give me a minute. So I lost yet another fucking recording when I was trying to show you guys how to do audio. So, audio is super simple. Right next to your effects control panel is a project panel. You double click in that, and then it'll show up a window. You guys can't see it because the recorder I'm using, it's kind of garbage. But you just double click in here, go to wherever the music folder is, and then you literally just drag it on. And then you can like add crashes, and you could add other things. I would show you guys what it sounds like, but anytime I try to switch my audio device over, it stops recording my actual audio, so I can't really do that. But you guys understand. You guys just throw them on and they work. If you need to, you can hit the drop down menu right here, go to audio, and then you can just adjust the audio levels. If it's too loud, I'd say minus it by about 10 decibels at first, and if that's too quiet, then turn it up to minus 5 decibels. If it's too quiet though, I'd try upping it by about 3 to 5 decibels at the most. But like I said, easy to do this in Premiere, so if you can get Premiere, I would. But audio is super simple, super quick, nothing that you need an in-depth tutorial about because everything's just there. It's made to be simple, but I think that just about covers it. So yeah, those are the basics of how you make lightsaber effects nowadays. They used to be really, really difficult because you'd have to use like a bunch of, I don't know, computer generating shit wasn't a thing back then, so, you know, it was hard to do things. But if you guys want to see other tutorials on other things like how to become the Flash or how to be Superman and fly, these are all things I'm very capable of. I've been getting a lot more into VFX, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So if you guys want to see more of that from me, please do consider subscribing. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like. And like I said, subscribe if you're new. And I hope to see you guys hopefully in the next one.